Hello.
Oh,
Oh, what do you got going on? You in your living room?
well, a long time ago, Julie belonged to a church, and I said, let's go down in the basement. She said, oh, that's not the basement. That's the Ludwig social room. So I'm not down in the basement. I'm in the Sullivan social room.
Got it. Uh,
uh, and the video earlier, uh, the new thing allows you to just zoom in on yourself. Well, I had that set, and now it's not working. So
well, it kind of worked. I saw it zoom in.
did it? I didn't see that.
Um,
Good.
yeah, it kind of zoomed in. You still look like you're sitting back away from your screen or whatever, but
Well, yeah, I am across the room. You know how these social rooms are.
I do. I understand. I think that's kind of neat, actually.
What's that?
You have your own social room in the basement.
Yeah. So when they tore down the Church of God up there at the corner of Briel and Grand to put in the White Castle, this was 3 decades ago, they had the entire lower level was uh, floored with oak flooring. And they glued this ugly, nasty green carpet foam onto the top of it. And a coworker and I went up and investigated buying the floor. It was 2,816 square feet of oak flooring. And we arranged to pick it up, and then they tore it up themselves. And um, I got a call while he was on vacation, said, are you still interested in this flooring? I said, yeah. And they sold it to us at a quarter of the price that we originally bid for it. But it had this ugly green carpet and foam on it, and all the cut nails were sticking out of it. It was just like a haystack made out of cacti.
Right.
So Larry Snelling was the guy that I went in with it. And so it went out, and I didn't have a truck at the time. I went out and rented a truck, went up and loaded up the box truck, came down and uh, stuffed the garage with it. And we put it online and sold enough the first couple of weekends online to cover our costs. So after that, it was pure profit. So we sold another batch, and I was able to buy my wife at the time a sewing machine, and we still had carpet left over, or not carpet, but flooring. So what you see behind me is the flooring out of the Church of God.
Okay.
I bought a hand plane and went through and hand plane, well, a power hand plane, and so I did the living room upstairs, the entryway, down the hallway, this room, and a little library to the side, and still had oak left over. So it was an interesting thing. Overall, it was a good thing.
Yeah.
The when they put it in, some pieces were 18 feet long.
Wow.
So I picked the best wood for the living room upstairs, and I have some pieces that go the entire length of the room.
Wow. I know. What was the school that was right there at the end? It's in your neighborhood, right there at the corner of Briel. It
Oh
runs
yeah,
into that park.
Verity, Verity. middle
Yeah,
school.
I know. I think the Mennonites bought the floor from the gym there.
Oh, I thought it was still there. Last time I was in there with a neighbor, I thought the flooring was still there. They may have taken it all up though.
Mm,
They've
I,
torn
they,
down so many schools. It could be any number of them.
well, they did do a bunch of different schools, but I'm pretty sure I'm pretty sure that when they were getting rid of that building, they sold the flooring and everything that was there. I mean, just everything, because I think they thought they were going to gut it and tear it down.
Well, hello,
Steve's here.
for what that's worth.
Steve's stuck in a cubicle today.
Yep. Had to come in because a server was being silly.
Was it being silly because it got cold?
No, it was being silly because it got warm.
Yeah, I was going to say cold. It probably would like that. Yeah. Well, what what did you think about all this snow?
I like snow. I left the car buried for 3 days. Well, 2 days.
There's my car. The picture went sideways for some reason. Zoom made the picture sideways. Yeah. But
That's what my driveway looked like. Lots of snow.
I Patty had to work that day in the morning.
Ooh,
Yeah, I went out there and trudged my way through it, and at one point it was up to my knees as I was going through. Went down there, I brushed all the snow off the car, had the car started, it was running, and I'm just sitting there going, I'm not getting out of this. I turned the car off about, I don't know. Now, it was right after I brushed all the snow off and went up there and told her, you got to call off. There's no way I could get you to work. And then hour or so later, the car was just covered with snow again. So,
we uh, we started shoveling the driveway, and I got about halfway down it, and the neighbor came over with the snowblower and did the rest of it. And it was thank you very much. And we went in anticipating that I had a doctor's appointment on Monday, that I'd be able to pile out, hop in the car, and go.
right.
And snow plow came through and piled up the snow about 2 o'clock in the morning. And it wasn't soft and fluffy at that point. It was like shoveling big chunks of road pavement. So we just did the minimum.
Well, my car doesn't really seem to have a problem with it being all icy and whatever, but this light and fluffy snow that came, I got stuck in it like twice, 3 times. I pulled out of my parking spot finally and just got stuck. I'm stuck. Our neighbor, several of our neighbors were just out and pushed me out of it, but if it wasn't for them, I would have been, it would have been very bad. And today, I think I know why, but today we got a note from the apartment complex that said, please move your car by 9 a.m. They're going to plow the entire parking lot, which I was like, okay, that's good. Of course, it's several
Move it
days.
where?
Yeah, well, that too, but it's several days too late to do this. But was it last night? I think it was last night. A ambulance got stuck in here. And
Damn.
I have a feeling that they were not happy. So they probably said something to, you know, get your stuff fixed. There's a better picture of it.
Is yours the white one?
Um, this thing here, yeah,
Well, they all kind of look white from here.
they all are white, and you can't tell it in this picture, but this guy who owned this car, he was out at 2 in the morning, and he piled up a bunch of snow in the drive, getting all his neighbors. He worked on all his neighbors' cars right here, but he piled the snow up in the drive, thinking that the snowplow would just come and push it out of the way, and it didn't. The snowplow just went around it because it was a big pile of snow. It's like, oh crap. And luckily, or unluckily, I don't know which, but luckily nobody parks next to me, so we just kind of moved all the snow that he piled up into the spot next to mine. So the snowplow that's coming tomorrow morning is going to have fun with that. But more power to them. Hopefully they bring like a bobcat or something and try to just move it smallly. But yeah, I don't know where I guess I'm going to Walmart for a couple hours and letting them do their job. But so,
My driveway's pretty steep. If there's any snow in it, I can't get the car back in the driveway. I can get out real easy. Gravity's on my side. Getting
yeah.
back in, that Mazda's got racing slicks on it practically. I really ought to buy better tires, well, it's got really good tires on it. I should buy worse tires.
More tires. Well, part of my problem was because the guy piled all the snow up behind my car, basically.
Yeah.
I had to turn at a weird angle, and so I kept hitting that big pile of snow and just kept getting stuck in it. So I was like, we got to do something with that because can't keep getting stuck. And the first day I had to go down and turn around and come back up, and I got stuck pulling into my spot, which that never happens. So I got stuck on the way out. I got stuck on the way in.
Before it started snowing, I went to the store and picked up about 30 cans of soup and toilet paper, paper towels. Went back home.
All the essentials. Yeah,
Yep.
Patty said,
You missed the milk. It's preparing for the White Death. It's toilet paper, milk, and bread.
Yeah, coffee. Though I did get bread as well.
Patty said that people were in. She sent me pictures. I don't have them. I wish I had kept them. But she sent me pictures. Shelves were empty. People were, and I'm like, stop panic shopping. Why do people do that? Why do they panic?
I have I
We
have
live in
a
Ohio.
yeah, I have a photograph from several years ago, and it's there in Kroger in front of the milk aisle. The guy has a full-size shopping cart, and it is completely chunk full of like 30 gallons of milk. Where are you going to do that? Unless you've got like an institution of some sort, you're never going to consume that much milk.
My first wife and I both liked milk quite a bit, and we were in the military at the time, and we were in the chow hall late because we had done something wrong, and came time to clean out the milk cooler, and there was an unopened 5-gallon bag of milk in there in a cardboard box. We both liked milk, so we decided we're not going to throw it away. And we drank 5 gallons of milk inside of 24 hours. It was not a good thing.
Uh, at Fort Polk, Louisiana, 3 of us discovered a 5-gallon bag, as you described, of chocolate milk.
Mm-hmm.
It was cold, it was rich, and we hadn't gotten any of it because the KP and the staff down there were thieves. So we decided we were going to steal up 5 gallons of milk, and I can tell you that 3 people cannot drink 5 gallons of chocolate milk. We made a valiant attempt, but we didn't have any place to put it in the barracks. I mean, it'd be pretty obvious what was going on if you show up there in a World War II temporary barracks with a carton of 5 gallons of chocolate milk.
Well, Patty kept going, but what if the power goes out? What if the power goes out? All our food would be bad. And I'm like, look, it's like negative whatever it is outside. It's 19. It's colder outside than it is in our refrigerator.
Yep.
We just put all the stuff in bags and take it outside and bury it.
I've got one of the little, I don't know, I think it's a 8 cubic foot top loading chest freezer in the
Yeah.
garage. And that thing's cold. It stays at 0. Got the refrigerator in the house. I got a generator that'll run them both, no problem at all.
Yeah. Well, unfortunately, if I had if we lived in the trailer again or something, I would have a generator, but unfortunately, I can't do that here. They won't let me hack into the power thingamabob. I suppose I could always just have a generator in the backyard or something and run extension cords up, but that
Yeah.
probably wouldn't be great.
Yeah, they don't appreciate that.
Well, they'd like that better than putting it in the hallway.
Maybe, but yeah, I didn't quite get the. It's if the power goes out, all our cold food would go bad. No, I think our cold food would be fine if the power goes out.
Well, they had somebody on TV that says, "Oh, if the refrigerator quits, it's over 4 hours. You got to throw all that food out." I'm like,
Oh, bullshit.
what planet are you on? It's not happening at our house.
I don't get the generator out until the power's been off for an hour.
Yeah, I rush into these things.
Yeah, I'm
Maybe
always hopeful.
maybe it's a safety thing or something, but I think uh, one of the freezers went bad at Kroger one year, and they had to empty that cooler out. And Patty was telling me that after 4 hours they had to throw the food out, and maybe it's just a safety deal, but I would kind of like you. It won't go bad that fast, and it's going to be cold. I mean, as long as you don't open the door up all the time,
Yep.
it's going to stay cold in there.
Well,
Yeah, I've got a
here,
remote thermometer in the freezer and the refrigerator, and it's all battery powered. If I kick the plug out of the wall on the freezer in the garage, if it gets to, I think it's 20 degrees, an alarm goes off. That's like 8 hours away.
Yeah.
well, as you're aware, Julie was a pharmacy technician for Kroger for about 20 years. And when they moved into the new building, the pharmacy was the first thing that went in. And they had a power outage, and the pharmacy drugs were in peril. And that was a different story altogether. They went to extraordinary lengths to make certain that none of the drugs were compromised.
Yeah.
Save the drugs.
Some of those drugs are very susceptible to temperature variance.
Yeah. I don't believe Julie volunteered to take the drugs just so they wouldn't be wasted.
Ah, so. I had something interesting going on with one of my Nooks, and it happens to be the one that to switch topics all of a sudden. It's the one that I'm using as the image machine, and the it's got Joplin and run Nextcloud on it. It keeps losing network connectivity. Yeah, it wasn't for a long time. I ended up just putting a cron tab deal in there to reboot the or restart the network every hour. That seems to have fixed the problem, but I don't know why it's losing.
Give it a fixed IP address
Okay,
instead of relying on DHCP.
I
I
can
mean,
do that.
things that are actual services you use probably should be fixed anyway.
Yeah,
So
that makes sense.
I I have my DHCP server hand out static leases. So I know where it is, but I can change it remotely if I need to. Just going to take it a couple hours.
You're
But
in the basement.
uh,
Your sump pump started in it.
That's Julie taking a shower.
Oh, okay.
Sorry for that.
It's kind of interesting. Interesting noises. Yep, you're right. I probably should set that to a static IP instead of. I'm just not sure why it does that. I mean, it shouldn't be dropping connection even with a IP from the DHCP, should it?
no, it shouldn't. I'd look through the um, varlog syslog
Yeah.
or varlog messages, whichever, and see what happens when it drops. Because unless it's assigned a different address, it should be fine.
Okay.
And I'd certainly look to see if it's getting a 169 dot whatever, but that should be in there.
Yeah. It's just weird. It just started recently, it almost makes me think that maybe AT&T updated the firmware in the modem again or something. You know,
Hmm.
it so it wasn't doing it, and then all of a sudden I can't get to it, and I'm like, oh crap, I've got to reboot. And so like I said, I just set it to restart the network connection every hour, and that seems to have solved the problem.
Is it a wired or wireless connection?
Uh, well, I think I'm doing wireless right now because I don't have,
AT&T?
yeah, I think it only has, I've got one hub, and that's over here. Um, I guess I can move the NUC over here closer to my Ethernet hub and connect it to the Ethernet.
Probably be more reliable.
It would have two connecting abilities that way, I guess.
No, you don't want that.
Don't want that. Okay.
But wired is definitely more reliable than wireless.
The
Well, tell me, Steve, why don't I want to connect my machine both wirelessly and hardwired?
Because there's a metric that tells it as long as the wired connection is available, use that. And if something happens to it, it doesn't switch unless it loses the link. And it'll
oh,
just sit there and keep trying to hammer away. Why won't you talk? Why won't you talk? Why won't you talk? Instead of switching.
that makes sense.
If you're going to have multiple connections, they should be something redundant. So multiple wired or multiple wireless, and then set them up with something like LACP so that if you lose a link, you still maintain a connection on the other available links, but you can't mix wireless and wired and do that.
What if you go to two different routers?
At some point, then you need to manipulate DNS, because if you have two separate routers and two separate routes, your external IP addresses are going to be different, and you need to have DNS point at that. But you can do that. Generally, that's done by putting the machine behind a proxy, and the proxy handles all the DNS and the default route, and the machine behind it has a single network connection or a bonded connection of some sort. You don't normally have two routers available to all of the machines in your office. Now, that said, there are quite a few routers available that will do multiple WAN interfaces. Linksys had a whole series of them, RV08 and RV04. They were great little routers. They had dual WAN ports, but that kept your network always the same, and then it would choose which WAN interface had more bandwidth or had lost connectivity. It would switch to the other, that sort of thing. But it's difficult. If you have multiple WAN interfaces, it is very difficult and expensive to get it set up so that both of your providers have the same set of IP addresses, and one provider simply doesn't present them to the world.
I've got a little box back here that um, streams the Franklin scanner, and it's connected to the Ethernet because it did not want to work going over Wi-Fi. So
Did it interfere with itself? That's the only thing that would make sense to me. You'd get 2.4 gigahertz noise on your USB ports.
I don't know, maybe. I it it just seemed like it was working, but nothing was streaming out. I
Hmm.
got no audio on the output side, and it seemed it almost seemed like the connection was very, very slow, and that the packets were getting rejected on the server that that I was sending them to. So maybe it was some sort of weird interference or something, but uh, pretty sure I had that set up on the 5 gigahertz side of things, though. So, but as soon as I plugged in the Ethernet, it was fine. And then
Ethernet usually is.
my uh my VoIP my voice over IP phone is the only other thing that I've got connected to the Ethernet because it doesn't do Wi-Fi at all. It's
Hmm.
just an Ethernet thing. So,
Do you need a bigger switch
oh,
or a switch?
I've got a little tiny switch or hub. I'm not even sure it's a switch. I think it's just a dummy hub, and it's a 4 port, and I've got two things plugged into it. So I probably don't because the only other thing that I might plug in is that Nook. I'd have to move
Okay.
that. I have to move that Nook over here, but I mean that's not a big deal. But the only real downfall to that is it's an old 10100 hub. I mean I mean
Oof.
it's an antique.
Okay. Our next meeting that's in person, I'll bring you a switch.
Okay. You need something better.
Yeah. You
Well,
can get an eight.
something in this
Yeah, century.
this yeah.
Yeah. It seems to work. I I'm a hoarder. I'm an electronics hoarder. I just keep stuff around.
Okay, I have an Asus AC 1300 dual band gigabit router. And I'm thinking that this is part of the antique collection.
ASUS routers are actually very nice. Let me check if that'll run DDWRT.
Well, this is an extra. I think I replaced it because it was just 10100.
Really?
Yeah.
I don't think that's 10100, but maybe.
Man, I need to get a microscope to read this font.
What was the model number on that?
Okay, model number RT-ACRH13.
That is a well-supported modem or router. That'll run the current kernel, and you could do some interesting stuff with that.
Oh, I replaced it with one that my stepson gave us. Which was a TP-Link. AX3000. Which I thought was a better one. And this Asus has a classic collection of dust on it. I mean, this is some real-time, old-world. I can see where I picked it up. There's a handprint. You know, Julie and I were more anal. We actually dust occasionally.
I have dust from 3 years ago when we moved in. I can donate you some 3-year-old dust.
Well, that'd be a decade's improvement over what we currently have. I don't know what it is. This house has always been dusty. I installed an electrostatic air cleaner in the ductwork, and that really didn't minimize it.
It's not your house, it's the area. Every house I've lived in this area has been nothing but dust.
When we go around and vacuum up, we get about half a canister of gray stuff that looks like powdered cement.
Yep.
That's skin cells. In my case, it's dog hair.
Dog hair. Yeah. Every house that I have lived in the Middletown, Franklin area, it has been nothing but dust. So it's not the house, it's the area. I remember one of the first weeks we were actually here. I went outside. We went out to take her to work, and the car was covered in like a fine layer of something. And I still don't really know what that was. Hi, Vicente.
Hey,
Hi. What's going on?
Greetings.
Are you stuck inside?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yep. The
Well,
I know.
Steve, what's the verdict? Am I using the wrong router?
No, I mean, TP-Link makes good stuff too, but that router, so that's identical to a RT AC58U or an AC1300, or it is an AC1300. It's also
Yeah.
there are 3 routers that are the same board and electronics, it's easy to install a new operating system on it, and you get to play with it more. You can do things like run VLANs, which you can't do with the stock firmware. You can do some neat tricks.
Okay, now tell me again what I can run because I didn't catch that.
OpenWRT. So the first wireless routers were Linksys WRT 54s. That was what everybody had. They sold 1 billion of those things. And the open source community got together and wrote their own firmware for them because they wanted them to be able to do more stuff. And that same community keeps playing with newer routers. The router you've got is one that's listed as running that software well.
Well, I think the equipment far exceeds the capacity of its owner.
Ah, it's just a toy. One of the advantages of running Linux on a router is it's very easy to make backups of how things worked. So you can play with it and go, oh, crap, didn't work. And then just SCP the original configuration back in and restart it.
Uh, Yet another project that I'm not capable of finishing.
And I ran that WRT firmware on an actual Linksys route on several Linksys routers. It added so much. You could do so much with that after the firmware. One of the shops I was at, I was borrowing Wi-Fi from a guy down the road.
Borrowing?
Borrowing, well,
he was helping the fellow test.
He knew that I was doing it. So yes, I was technically borrowing his Wi-Fi.
He was sharing his connection with you.
Yeah, but I was, I had a workbench. I was trying to work on all these computers, and I had no internet for the other computers. And I brought one of those WRT routers in and set it up where where it would get Wi-Fi, where internet on Wi-Fi, and port it out to all the Ethernet ports, and it worked wonderful. And it was, I mean, at least for the time, it was nice and quick and speedy. It did everything it needed to do.
I set one up once. It was running air crack. You just plug it in and set it down, and it would look for the strongest signal and then keep sending out, oh, shoot. I forget what the name of the packet was. It would cause the other router to resend authentication requests over and over and over. And after a few thousand of those, it could figure out what the password was, because there are issues with a lot of things like that. And then it would phone home and said, found it. Upload the name of the wireless signal, the BSSI or whatever it is, and the password. And then it would go to the next one.
Yep.
And nobody ever looked at it twice because it was just a standard default router just sitting there with its lights blinking away.
Yeah.
I actually lent that to a friend of mine's daughter. And one time when it checked in, it was pulling a page down off of my website that told it, stop doing that. And so we'd set it in a window, and after 7 or 8 hours, she had internet. It worked pretty darn well.
Is this your boat, Leroy?
No, this is the Cincinnati, but it's close enough. Mine was a mine was SSN 691. This is SSN 693.
But it was same class.
Same class. Pretty much the Cincinnati was our sister ship, more or less. Um, I randomly came across that picture while I was just sitting here. Thought, hey, here's something. We had because we are an R&D boat, we had a lot of these panel tile things all over the front half of our sub. Um, and we had a couple of things that aren't listed here because uh because we were testing for the rest of the fleet. So this is obviously an early picture of it or something because it doesn't show some of the modifications. But
So, dumb question. Why are torpedoes still wire guided?
um, they are, well, without too much, you still need to arm them so they get away from the ship, and you can tell it to disarm up to so far. So if you suddenly realized, oh, hey, I made a mistake that I shouldn't have shot this at you, you could say
Oops,
disarm.
sorry.
Yeah. um, they
Then it
also,
just makes a big loud clunk when it hits.
yeah, pretty much. Uh, they can also get um like updated information up to a certain point so that they don't have to sit there and go into seeking mode or finding mode or whatever they
Hmm,
call that.
cool.
So our torpedoes are actually pretty sophisticated, and um radio signals underwater really don't work well. So a wire connect it kind of goes back to routers. A,
Wired's always better.
a wire is just better. Yeah.
Are they actual copper or are they optical?
That I don't know because I wasn't a torpedo man. I learned enough about them to qualify to put them into the torpedo tube and maybe hit the button to make them go away. But
Probably copper, because
fire, yeah.
you can make a copper wire thinner than you can an optical fiber.
Uh, yeah, I would think they're probably copper. They're real long and real thin. I so and they kind of in a spool on the backside of the torpedo that just kind of unspools as it goes. Um,
Oh, like a fishing reel.
Yeah,
kind of, yeah, yeah, but you can't put it back on
you
that.
can't reel it back in.
You can't reel it back in. Once it's gone, it starts unraveling. So, but
So
torpedo
how long
men.
are they typically?
Oh, I don't remember what that was. Uh, I want. I want to say.
Who are we talking about? A mile or
I want to say they were 1,000 foot
That picture showed 10 miles.
for the wire.
I think so,
I don't think the wire was that long.
unless it was 1.0.
Uh, It does 1.0. You
Ah,
can't see the point, but I don't think the wire's that long. I know it at some point after it leaves, you only have a short amount of time before while you can still send information to it.
so
So
you've got to arm it within 1,000 feet, and once that wire is broken, too bad.
it's on its own. Yep.
Hmm.
Nothing you can do about it. So
So how fast are the torpedoes going?
I don't know if I ever learned that.
About 40 feet per second.
Yeah.
40 feet per second.
At 35 miles an hour,
Yeah.
32 knots, 30 knots, somewhere around there.
Yeah, I would say they've got to be doing at least 30 knots because I mean I think I'm pretty sure that's what our sub could do. So they got to be faster than our sub so they don't circle
Run
back
into
around
it.
and hit us. That's another thing that the wire was supposed to help prevent is for it to circle back around. Because it's got a little sonar buoy on the front of it. So it's actively listening for other ships. And there's a gyroscope in it so that if it makes too big of a turn, it deactivates itself. Our torpedoes are pretty sophisticated because you
So if
don't
it
want
does
them
a 180 and it goes, no,
if it does too wide of a turn, it will deactivate so that it doesn't blow up one of our fleet.
that's cool.
Yeah. At least in theory. I mean, you know how some stuff works.
Well, let's hope it works better than Zuni missiles.
But they are torpedoes are a pretty sophisticated device. And the torpedo men are big guys and I would never be able to actually do that job, even though I had to go down there and stand around and watch them and listen to them and get qualified. If they told me to go and do that job, we would be in big trouble.
Well, switching back to the Zuni missiles, do you guys know what I'm talking about?
But
Uh, the Zuni missiles had a safety pin and a ribbon on them that said "Do not" or "Remove before flight." But they had an error in the control logic. So when the plane would switch from ship power to plane power, it would send an errant signal and launch the damn missile right there on the deck of the carrier. The Forrestal disaster was as a result of that. You may recall that during the Vietnam War, they had a number of planes that were damaged when a Zuni missile flew across the deck, and one of the planes had John McCain in it as a pilot. He was able to open the cockpit, run out across the front of the probe in front of his aircraft, swing in front of the fire, and escape. They were using, at the time, surplus World War II 1,000-pound bombs that did not have thermal protection. So they were out there on the deck trying to get the fire put out, and one of these 1,000-pound World War II bombs went off, and it blew holes down 6 decks into the carrier and ruptured the fuel lines and fuel on all the craft that were on that side. The fuel poured down into the interior of the Forrestal. and they were successful taking the planes off and flying them to the Oriskany. And they managed to save the ship. I think it was 200 and some odd people perished. 11 years later, they're still using the same goddamn Zuni missiles with the same problem. They had not removed them from service or repaired the inherent disasters.
Yeah.
So not having a torpedo circle around and land on your ass is probably a good thing. Too bad the same logic didn't apply to many other military systems.
It does kind of make you think how many torpedoes actually blew up our own stuff before somebody went, hey, it's a bad idea. Because, I mean, modern torpedoes have gyroscopes and all this other fancy equipment on board, where torpedoes from WW2 were point it that direction and hope it goes there.
Yeah. Yeah, they were clockwork. They'd go in a straight line for
a
quarter mile and then start into a left-hand turn and slow down and go smaller and smaller circles.
Yep. It does actually make you wonder how many, how many didn't work the way they were supposed to. But,
just south of Columbus, there's a little military museum. It's privately run, and they have some engines out of torpedoes. And they have spares. And I was trying to talk them out of one. I really wanted one. It was about, 20 inches in diameter. It was a 5-cylinder radial that ran on alcohol. Very cool little engine. Water cooled.
yeah.
I thought they did some sophisticated stuff of using the waste from a chemical reaction to generate steam and also into a turbine. But it's been decades since I looked at that.
Yeah, there were a lot of ways of making torpedoes go. Apparently, I'm trying to remember where I saw it. There was a video of one that worked with a cable, and they'd pull the cable backward and the torpedo would go forward. The torpedo itself didn't have any sort of engine in it. It just had a spool of cable, and when they pulled it out, it was geared to the prop, and the prop pushed it forward faster than the cable was coming out.
That's interesting.
Let me see if I can find that.
I don't know if I told you guys that the USS Cincinnati display there in Westchester, up on Tylersville Road. A couple weeks ago they were still working on it, but it looks like it's going to be a pretty big display. So,
Where is this?
what is that park? Voice of America Park, up on Westchester, Tylersville Road.
Where is that from the WLW Tower?
Pretty much right next door.
Okay.
About an eighth of a mile west.
Yeah. It's you know where the you know where they have the concerts at Voice of America Park?
Yeah.
It's pretty much that's where the Cincinnati will be, pretty much.
It's neat.
I just posted a link. This is much older than I thought it was. This is 1900.
Mhm.
It was patented in 1877. Damn. And it went 27 knots and was steerable.
Steerable is the good part.
Yeah, it had two cables. If you pulled them out evenly, it went forward. If you pulled one faster than the other, it went left or right.
Yeah, that's interesting steering, but I guess it works.
20 knots with a 1 millimeter wire, 27 knots with a 1.8 millimeter wire.
See, I would think that that speed would be very impressive for the time.
Yeah,
Very impressive for the time.
yeah, that was against side wheel steamboats or sail.
Yeah.
And while technically a sailboat might be able to outrun that, it might also be pushed straight into it.
Its maximum depth, though, it's 12 feet. So a shallow water torpedo.
No, that's the lowest it would go. It was it it had an elevator so it could go up and down, and it used air pressure or water pressure to keep it at a given depth.
Keep it from dolphining.
Yeah.
Here's here's a link to Sub Cincinnati about the memorial and whatever that they're building. And it's playing music. I, I, I don't care. Stop! It's it's playing the thing. I did not realize it was going to play a thing.
My only qualm with where they built it, it used to be where people flew kites,
Uh,
and I like kites.
you know when they I think their website still is just showing artist renditions of it. But when they first announced it, um I wanted something like the WW2 memorials where you could go in and you could walk the front half of a submarine. Go deck by deck if you wanted to, or go wherever, but within reason. But this is more of a memorial with like a few actual parts of the submarine. So,
Have you ever been to the Museum of Science and Industry in Chicago?
I don't think so.
Absolutely.
Oh, you may want to go there. They have a captured German submarine that you can walk
Yeah.
through.
I saw it. Yeah.
Okay.
You would be impressed by how much smaller it was than what you were on.
And
You would feel claustrophobic. It's teeny tiny. It feels like you're uh, watching the movie.
U-boat boat.
Yes,
Das Boot,
Das Boot.
das Boot.
The only thing lacking is the moldy meat.
I think it had a crew of about 30.
Yeah.
It was one of the ones with a diesel engine that was mounted crankcase up and didn't have a oil pan over it. You could watch the crank or the connecting rods go up and down.
Are you looking at several ladies on a tugboat there?
Yep. And a submarine,
That is the Nautilus
which
going into be
571.
retired. First atomic United States atomic submarine, and later cut in half, a section welded in for missiles, and then being retired. The tugboat that's doing that is the one that Julie was on.
So that's okay. So that's the one that's in Groton that you can
Yes,
tour.
yes.
That's the one I was on, or not on. I toured it while I was in Groton. WW2 boat.
Well, not the Nautilus. Nautilus was nuclear.
They have a WW2 boat up there though, don't they?
I don't know about that. They have a WW2 boat down in Norfolk.
Okay. Maybe I'm getting my two, which is entirely possible because I was in Norfolk too, and I toured submarines down there too. So. I know the one was really, really small. I mean, tiny.
Yeah. That the one I was in Norfolk. Yeah, there's the hatch was maybe 3.5 feet tall.
Yeah. I remember me and my dad toured it, and he's a tall guy, and he kept bending over as far as he had to go through, and he's like, I don't know how people did this.
Slowly.
Slowly.
I don't know.
I remember touring a couple of different. We had we had a Russian boat pull in to port while I was in Norfolk. That was kind of interesting. Um, we were allowed to tour it, but only certain parts of it. They wouldn't let us see everything. And they were extended the um, same thing. We we'd give them tours if they wanted them of one of our boats, but not everything. Just what we wanted them to see. But that was an interesting. That was kind of interesting because they, the Russians don't usually want help, but they were having some sort of problem and they needed somewhere to go, and we made special arrangements to get them into our port. So I don't, I don't know. I don't. This is not what I remember doing in Groton. That's an actual museum. I don't remember. Now I'm going to have to dig up pictures while I was in Groton to see what submarine that was. Because I am sure that I was toured a WW2 boat while I was in Groton.
Julie, what year were we in Norfolk?
Oh my. That was when we went to Outer Banks, right? Maybe?
Could be, I don't know.
That was probably.
What was the name of that submarine we toured?
Actually that was outside of Carolinas, wasn't it? South Carolina.
Well, it was on the next to the Ravenel Bridge.
Yeah.
I thought that was in Norfolk.
Oh, okay, I was confused between the ship and the city. Wow. I'm not certain. Probably, it's got to be over 5 or 6 years ago.
Oh, easily.
Yeah.
If you remember the name of the boat, let me know. Because I
Yeah.
remember touring one, but I don't remember what it was. I just remember it was tiny. It was tiny.
Oh yeah. Yeah. It's probably still there.
Oh,
I'll get that.
that was loud.
Hello?
Your Zoom's working really well. It zoomed to
Yeah.
her while she was talking and everything. That was kind of cool.
Yeah, what kind of camera are you using?
The software is what's doing that. On the latest version of Zoom, it has a function that allows it to use software to zoom in on you. They call it portrait style. I just
Really?
looked on this machine today. I had a hard drive failure on the machine I normally talk to you guys on.
Yeah, auto framing.
Yeah, that's it.
Huh.
And so if I stand up and walk out on a frame, which I did earlier, or if I move my body, you can see the camera
Yeah.
not moving, but the software is refocusing as to what's going on.
Yeah, I see.
I don't see that option.
It may be a Windows thing.
Ah,
There are differences.
there
I
are.
have the option.
I'm on a new laptop at work, and it seems to be dealing with Zoom better than the old one did. And one of the cool things, the camera on this, it's actually got two cameras, or it moves a filter, I'm not sure, but it does IR, and it has an IR LED in it to illuminate what's in front of it.
Cool. So last week I talked about this HP Stream tablet that I got.
Mm-hmm.
Did I update you guys about this? Because I actually finally got an OS to actually work on it.
Stream 7
The Stream
or
7, yeah.
5.
The 7.
Cool.
If I turn off my virtual background. I got Debian
Trixie.
12 to install on it.
Nice.
I don't know what to do with it now. But it was kind of fun getting it to this point.
Maybe use a flashlight to the screen wide.
The interesting thing is most of the OSs that I tried, a lot of them would boot off of the flash drive and whatever. None of them really wanted to install. But the interesting thing, none of them let the sound work. This one, the sound just works. Everything works except for the Bluetooth, which is kind of interesting. So I'm not real sure what the deal is with that.
You may be able to swap out the Bluetooth card in there.
I don't know.
Yeah, you got to take out more screws, but that probably has one of those little tiny card wireless interfaces.
It might. Some of the other OSs I tried, like Anti-X,
Mm-hmm.
I could not get that thing to connect, the Wi-Fi to connect, to save my life. I mean, if somebody was holding a gun to my head telling me to connect it to the Wi-Fi, I would be dead because I couldn't get it to do it. But Debian, it just, sure, you want to connect? No problem. Like, oh, the difference one OS makes.
If that is Debian 12, you may want to try the newest, Debian 13.
So I tried 13 while I was doing, I tried dozens of OSs. 13 ran really, really nice and smooth on it off of the flash stick,
Mm-hmm.
but it didn't want to install the UFE 32-bit drivers to make it actually boot.
Yeah.
12 did. 12 just worked. Oh, yep.
Is this in the sub or the tug?
That is in the sub. And it's a World War II. And there's a red handrail across the top so that you can grab it, swing your feet and lower body through the hatch, and pop out on the other side. So that's what I'm holding onto on the other side of the partition. Hardly a partition, but that's the only word I can think of.
Bulkhead.
Bulkhead.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Or
yeah.
bumphead, as it might often have been called.
I don't think they used shower curtains as partitions in, in the submarine.
I just searched my Google photos, and I don't see the pictures. But I know I have pictures. I don't know. I may not be thinking of the right submarine or the right location.
I said Norfolk, it was Charleston. My mistake.
Charleston.
Yep.
I know I took a tour of something down in Norfolk while I was down there. There was something there, but they moved stuff around too. So 30-year legacy of the space shuttle. I don't know why that's there. I'll dig through these pictures a little more, see if I can figure out what submarine I was toured. I know I toured a couple of them.
The USS Craigmore. Clagmore.
USS Craigmore. See, that doesn't ring a bell, but
Mike, do you know what version of Zoom you're running?
I will look right now, Art.
Pardon?
I said I will look right now.
Oh, thanks.
It's actually kind of hard to find that sometimes.
yeah.
Yeah. I'm running 6.7.2, 26346.
I think that's the current one,
Yes.
at least for Linux. I have no idea what it is for Windows.
The major minor number, the 6.7.2, is the same. but the build numbers, that 26346, that is different depending on what OS it's built for.
Okay.
I'm on 6498 as the
Where
build
are,
number.
where are you finding that?
Um, if you go back to the Zoom Workplace screen and you click on your name and then help and about Zoom,
Or where it says sign in below that.
or where it says sign in below that.
If you're not signed into Zoom.
Oh, okay. I am, of course, signed into Zoom. Zoom!
Yeah. And if I was, we would be battling.
But yeah, so we are, once they get this museum open, not museum, the memorial open, we all might have to make a trip to Westchester. Patty wants to go see it.
It's already ready to visit or not?
A couple weeks ago, our last in-person meeting, they were still, it looked like they were still working on it, so I'm not real sure when it's supposed to open. Probably, I'd think spring or summer,
Yeah, when it gets warmer.
I would think, yeah.
I didn't notice any really tall fences around it. You might be able to go visit now.
If you go to Chick-fil-A, that's how I saw it. If you go to the Chick-fil-A and you just look back at the VOA where the VOA park is, it's right there. You can see it.
Yeah. Yeah, I saw it when I drove by. I'm like, what the heck? Because I had no idea what any of it was.
I we came out of Chick-fil-A and I looked up and I'm like, there's a submarine sitting over there. Oh crap, that's that's the USS Cincinnati.
I'm sorry, Art. I have been unable to find out what version I'm operating. Uh, this, this monitor that I'm using here is only a single monitor, and I don't have the ability of looking at the other screen.
Okay.
It's real easy to get spoiled having two screens.
Mm-hmm. This is what I was looking at.
Oh, interesting. Now when I Google searched this I didn't even come up with this.
I mean, I think there are other ways to get it, but I'm not sure.
Can you send the link?
What?
Give me the link to
To what?
that web page that you just shared.
That was just my desktop.
Oh, that was your desktop.
Yeah.
That wasn't a web page. Okay.
Oh, the web page behind it was HP, how to install Linux on your tablet.
Well, that's what I thought I saw.
That's what I thought. I thought that was
Oh,
a web page.
oh, okay. Maybe it doesn't show itself. Hold on, let's so do you not see the big white square there in the middle?
I see an
Mm,
infinity sign now.
yep.
That's bizarre. Okay, sorry, never mind. So Zoom won't show you Zoom.
Okay.
Um, okay, I can get around that.
Take a picture,
Yep.
stash it away, and then find out where your machine put it, because it didn't ask.
No, but the web page for the Steam thing from HP, that might be interesting because I didn't even see that before when I Googled it.
Oh, good grief.
Steve, not that I want to make you feel bad, but it really makes me feel good when other people get frustrated.
I normally only get this frustrated with Windows. So it turns out my laptop doesn't have paint. Oh, wait, maybe it does?
You sure they don't call it something else like Snap?
It's
Okay.
I
That's where
thought
I saw it. When you're in this screen for Zoom
Yep.
down at the bottom.
Yep.
And amusingly enough, at least to me, when I go to do a print screen, it moves all of my windows to other desktops. So I have to find it, do the copy, and then put it back.
welcome to Windows.
Yeah.
I found that little article on the HP website for the Steam Deck or Steam 7. And it looks like they're documenting pretty much the same problems I had about it. Some distros don't do the 32-bit thing, and they're talking like 1904, Ubuntu 1904, so
Hmm.
that is quite out of date. And at least Debian 12 is still somewhat supported.
that does go into how to install the 32-bit EFI partition, though.
Yeah. I'll read through it, but I think I'm done playing with it because I don't really know what to do with it now that I've done it. It's you know, that's one of the things with the Debian. It didn't have the onboard keyboard, so I still have to plug a keyboard into it to use it. And the way I got it to actually install was through the DVD, so it didn't want it to uh, get updates and whatever. I was kind of like, oh, it's still a pain, but I got it working.
I think the on-screen keyboard is Orca.
Orca, yeah, okay, I'll find that package. So that would make it at least something to play with, I guess. The only thing I could think of using it for right now, though, is to play games. I mean, I really can't think of anything that it can do that my phone can't do.
And I'm still not getting the same screen you were showing there, Steve, on the login. It's bizarre.
Um, hmm.
I'll hunt for it later. I don't mean to distract.
Well, there are other places to find it. I'm just trying to think where.
If you're logged in, right?
Uh, I brought this up about 6 hours ago, and quite frankly, I don't remember what state I'd slept in.
Okay. Well, uh, I don't know.
Yeah, you should see me in a different view now, not live.
Yep. Well,
Okay, that means I am logged in.
Why does that mean you're logged in?
Because I only use that modified image of myself on login devices.
Okay.
So, well, I took a picture and went through and processed it heavily to come up with that image. And that's the reason I know that I don't use that for anything other than my image when I'm logged in on devices.
You avatar.
So if Julie were logged in, she would have a picture of her in her Cracker Jack uniform. I don't.
You're supposed to say boo when you do that.
Supposed to say what?
Boo.
boo.
happy it just recognizes there's a human being here.
Eventually, AI will kill us. It won't recognize us as human beings.
I'm sorry, Hal, I can't do that.
I'm
Oh,
sorry,
wait.
Dave.
I'm sorry, Dave, I can't do that.
I'm sorry, Dave. Open the pod bay doors, Hal. No!
But the part I love is when he starts singing, I'm half crazy.
I just got that movie on DVD last week. I need to watch it. I get to that point, the psychedelic point right near the end, and almost always fall asleep during that. I don't think I've ever actually gotten to watch the entire movie.
Really?
Yeah. I think I've seen all of 2010, the year they made contact, but I don't think I've seen all of 2001.
That's a 1967 movie?
Something like that.
Yeah. 7 or 8.
You know, Kubrick was hired to fake the moon landing, and of course, he went for realism and went to the moon to do it, to film it. At least that's what I hear. 68. According to Wikipedia, 68.
You probably don't remember city buses having a poster on the side of them, the entire width of the bus of an advertisement for 2001. But they ran around Kansas City quite often with them. I don't think that poster on the side of the bus would fit in my house on any wall, any place.
In 1968, I wasn't even a thought in my parents' eye. I was born a couple years later.
I'm constantly reminded that I'm dealing with kids.
Yeah. Oh,
Okay, not Orca. Orca's a screen reader.
Orca's the screen reader. It's I don't remember what it is. Onboard, isn't it? Isn't it just called Onboard?
That sounds right.
Are you talking about a screen capture?
No,
Okay.
screen
On-screen
keyboard.
keyboard.
On-screen keyboard.
I'm sorry, I'm behind the times. I apologize.
And here you are talking about always dealing with kids, and you're behind the times.
Well, just because I say it doesn't mean I know anything about what I'm talking about.
I'm quite sure that my dad still considers me a kid, even though I've been on this planet for 55 years. So you're in good company. It's all right. Me and Patty was talking about one of the girls and how, she's a kid or whatever. And I'm like, she's 30 some odd years old. She's not a kid. She's your kid, but she's not a kid.
my brain just never developed. I think I'm deeply rooted in adolescence.
I am more convinced than ever that the reason why the grandkids like me so much is because I have toys.
No, it's because you play with toys.
Because I play with toys, yes. You know, Papple can make us toys. Papple will play with us. Papple will do all kinds of stuff. Did
Hmm.
has anybody been following what Washington State's doing with 3D printers?
No,
No.
I only I've only seen a couple of YouTube videos about it, but apparently they want to make all 3D printers. If you want to print a gun or something, it won't print. And of course, some people are very vocal about if you give them the chance to limit what you can print, even if it's, you know, one thing, then what's to stop them from telling you you can't print other stuff?
You wouldn't print a car.
You want to print a car. So I don't know. I suppose it's something to keep an eye on and see what they end up doing with it.
is this a
Yeah, but
state law?
That's what they're pushing for. Just means I won't be updating the firmware on my printer anytime
That's
soon.
yeah, but you can make your own printer with
well,
open source or whatever.
according to one of the printers or one of the YouTube videos that I saw, they're going to even probably ban that. It, they're not going to let you make your own printer.
It's illegal to have a printer not connected to the web or something.
Well, that was my thing was just don't connect it to the web and don't update the firmware. But
I don't see how they can stop people from building them.
Yeah,
A ramps card is
or
what,
or
12
or buy
bucks?
or buy stuff from another state that they are allowed to print. You know, you can buy stuff by mail, parts or whatever. They need to
yeah,
check all the packages. It's almost impossible to implement.
I see. I'm with you. I think it would be very, very hard to enforce that, but
They will
I
try.
I think they're trying.
Well, I'm pissed off enough about HP bricking my printer because I wasn't using HP ink.
Have I ever mentioned brother printers?
Heck, even Canon print. Oh, you can't see it. Even Canon printers. Yes, I had to jump through a few hoops to get the printer to work with Linux, but it Linux supported it. So
I have some Windows printers that no longer work in Windows that I have a Raspberry Pi in front of so that I can get them to work in Windows.
yeah,
So the logic behind this is that we're going to prevent you from printing a particular object.
Yeah,
How would you know what that object was intended to do?
yeah.
Maybe they're going to hand out plans for all of the 3D printable guns first.
Well,
Don't
what
print this.
happens? What happens if you have plans that include screws? Would you no longer be allowed to print a screw?
well, that's what this one guy is saying is where do you draw the line? What do you? I mean, it sounds good-ish, but
Well,
not really. But so
no,
where do you draw the line? So
the Second Amendment doesn't say you have to be able to own a Smith and Wesson gun. It says you're allowed to be a well
I don't.
regulated
Yeah.
militia.
I
Uh,
I think I think what they're talking about is creating an online database and like all the maker uh places that have the STL files would have to go to those online databases and verify that the file that you're uploading isn't listed in this database.
I'm seeing some serious infringement there that's going to be have
I
their butt thrown into the court system.
I personally I don't think it's going to pass. It's just the mere fact that they're trying to do this is
I mean,
something.
they did something similar with all of the commercial copiers and being able to recognize those little constellations on all the US bills.
Yeah.
And they won't print or they won't copy a bill well. I, I don't know how they would. They'd almost have to go the reverse. If you went to print something, it has to have some secret signature in it, and if it doesn't have that signature, you're not allowed to. And you'll only have to send us $3 to get your
Secret
particular
signature.
design signed.
Yeah. Well, apparently that was one of the videos that he was talking about was signing the firmware. Uh, Because I guess the way this thing's worded is the firmware in the printer is not supposed to recognize certain files.
Hmm.
And I don't know how that would work because most printers have limited memory for firmware in the first place.
Yeah.
So, you know,
And I'm thinking there's an infinite variety of ways you can print the same object, simply modifying the exterior by putting bumps or knuckles on it would.
But you can design also anything. You don't need to download anything.
yeah, I don't think that it's going to go very far. I think I'm not so sure that the legislators in Washington actually understand 3D printers, but
For me, it sounds like you can buy ketchup and you can buy fries, but you cannot mix them before eating them. That's not working.
Wait a minute, are we talking about Washington State or Washington DC?
I am
Same, I mean, I
I'm
think.
pretty
State.
sure that it was the state. Yeah, yeah.
Well, you're right about the people not understanding what they're dealing with, and that would apply to the legislature in every state as DC.
Yeah.
This is true.
Well, I also I mean the whole idea of a ghost gun, it just seems like is that really such a big thing? I mean, you hear about them, but you don't hear about them a lot. It's not like everybody that owns a 3D. I don't want to print one. I don't care. I mean, it's not like everybody that owns a 3D printer is out there printing these guns and they're just everywhere.
Well, there are so many guns in America, nobody would really have to print one. But a long, long time ago, Middletown Works of Armco Steel had a coke plant. And a regulation came out covering coke oven emissions. And another OSHA regulation says if you force employees to take a shower you must provide them towels and soap. And so everybody was trying to figure out how in the world can we provide towels and soap and not have the towels stolen. And the solution I came up with was to fly over Middletown and throw towels out the airplane until the ground was covered with towels and nobody would bother to pick them up. They, in fact, complained about having to kick them out of the way. Then nobody would steal towels. I'm thinking the same solution is kind of like that on ammunition and firearms. They're everywhere.
Behind every blade of grass.
Yes.
Well, I mean, I feel like it's a Second Amendment issue.
Well, it's also a First Amendment issue.
Yeah.
So freedom of expression, which is basically the First Amendment, you're trampling all over that to begin with.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't think it will pass, but even if it did, I think it would be overturned pretty quickly because I think somebody would get up there and go, "Hey, you can't do this. You people don't understand what the hell you're doing."
Not to be redundant, but you people don't know what the hell you're doing.
Pretty much. So Ray just texted me, said he was sorry missing the meeting again. I guess he forgot. And it is just about that time.
Stay warm.
I am definitely going
Yes.
to try.
Next
Yeah.
meeting's in person, right?
Next meeting should be in person. That it
It's
would be
the
correct.
5th.
The 5th.
At midpoint,
Yes. Let me make sure that I am not. Yes. 5 to 7 Midpoint Library. So February 5th. So
Sweet.
okay.
hopefully I get to see everybody next week.
Do you want this router?
Yes.
So somebody definitely wants that router. Yes.
Okay, I will bring it.
Okay.
Adios.
We'll see everybody next week.
Bye.
Good night.
Good day.
Bye.